Welcome back to Straight Talk with Dr.V and Mr. P. Thank you for watching another episode. But before we begin the podcast, I need for you to click the like button, subscribe, and share with at least 3 of your friends. All right. How are you doing today,
I'm
Mr.
doing
B?
great. But on top of that, Dr. V, we need you to like, subscribe, and share. Not for because we need somebody to watch us. Me personally, I needed to do it so we can create our own unique URL. We can't even create a URL until we got 100%.
You gotta get 100.
So I need at least 100 of y'all or 100 of your friends to just subscribe. And you ain't gotta watch.
3 friends.
And then that way we can create our URL and stuff.
Yeah.
So you won't have to send all these crazy links and you can find us directly.
Exactly. And then you'll know when we upload a new podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're known about it. That little bell. Don't forget the bell too now.
Right. Because we got a lot to say and a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hope that you are enjoying the podcasts that are already uploaded out at YouTube. Let us know. Leave comments. Give us some questions, topics for shows. We would appreciate the feedback.
Right. And, you can say whatever you want. It don't matter to me. It doesn't matter.
It ain't gonna matter. But we're gonna.
But I'm just saying.
With any negative comments, we're gonna take it as a positive. So don't get it twisted.
All right, I appreciate it. So it is what it is. Welcome to Straight Talk, Dr. V, Mr. P.
See, I'm saved. I'm a pastor. See, he'll be the one that go off. Whoa. I'm gonna pray for you.
I'm saved too, Dr. V.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, what the boy said, he tried Jesus, don't try me. That's what he said. That's what he said. Try Jesus, don't try me.
Don't try P.
Right, I'm just saying.
Please don't try P.
But you know what, Dr. V, I'm excited today because we have a very special guest today.
Yes.
We got my baby, I call her my baby cousin. She was my baby cousin. I got a lot of baby cousins. Because I'm older, Dr. V. See, I'm old.
You know what?
Than them. What? I'm just saying, Dr. V. I'm okay. I'm one of those people who's okay with growing older.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, because
you can't go back. So you're gonna have to be okay with growing old.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but a lot of
people, you got a choice.
A lot of people, I ain't gonna say y'all gonna say women, but I ain't gonna say women.
No, because I'm enjoying my age.
I'm just saying, Dr. V. I ain't trying to throw no elbows or nothing like that. I'm just saying. So,
I'm enjoying.
Anyway, I'm excited.
There are benefits that come with this age, baby.
Yeah, of course there is. So, but we have a very special guest on.
Yes, I can't wait to talk to her.
Yeah, I'm excited to have her here because she's a baby cousin, but I've been watching her and keeping up with what she does because she's been doing a lot of amazing things.
I love it when Black women are doing amazing things. Well, Black girls rock. Yeah,
and then she's chocolate like me. Chocolate, she black and black.
You are not chocolate.
So I'm
you
just
are
saying.
Hazelnut brown.
No.
And she's a pretty chocolate chip.
Pretty chocolate.
You hazelnut.
Hey, why?
She's a pretty chocolate chip.
She's unavailable though, Dr. V. So she's unavailable. So don't get it twisted.
Sorry, gentlemen.
Don't get it twisted.
Off the market.
She's about to, she's doing big things. I'll let her talk about it. I'm bringing on, but she's
sorry. She's spoken for me.
But she's my baby cousin.
Okay.
She's doing a lot of things. She's doing research. Real estate right now.
Real estate.
So we want her to come on and talk to you guys, talk to your generation about the importance of home ownership and, the getting the process and how people can obtain that American dream.
The American dream. Get out of these apartments and condos and get yourself a house.
Yeah.
A house, it equals commitment.
Yeah. And then here's the thing, and here's an important aspect of it too. And about it. She and I spent a lot of time, different years apart, in the same household. 180 Olympic Place, shout out Decatur, 180 Olympic Place. My grandmother's address. And she, I was there when I was a small child, and I spent a lot of time there growing up. When I even lived there for a few years when my parents divorced, and then that would be like the home base that a lot of people go back to. Right. So there was a lot of generations that came through that house.
Okay.
And so that's important. A lot of people didn't have that opportunity, or I didn't have a grandmother that they knew was always going to be here.
Yeah, that's good.
And so many years later, when she was born, she spent a lot of time there as well.
All right. That's good.
We'll talk about that. But we've been talking enough about it. Let's bring her on.
Okay.
And let me give a round of applause. So let's go. Let's give her a round of applause and bring her on. Let's get out of here so y'all can see her.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Brianna. Hey,
Hello.
Brianna.
How are you?
I am well. Thank you.
Good, good.
How are you all
I
today?
was trying to put you on the market, girl.
Yeah. No.
Yep, I'm taking, We're here, but I'm taking.
Well,
That's
we're
good.
right,
So
we're
you
right.
roll. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing great, Brianna. So thank you, first of all, for coming here. It makes me happy to be able to have you on here, and we're family. I told Dr. V earlier when he was off, my family is popping. So Dr. V, you know that. But everybody may not know that my family is popping like that. We just come from a good breed, a good stock. And
So I guess.
But we hood too. But we know how to handle business, so don't get it twisted. I'm just saying. Anybody know 180 Olympic Place? Everybody know what goes on in Decatur. Everybody knows the stomping ground. So Brianna knows. Even though it's gentrified now.
Very.
What they've done to hold that downtown Decatur area, Olympic Place, and all that area that we grew up in. Oh no, it's crazy the way it looks now.
Yeah, it's not.
And but it's sad at the same time because we couldn't get that same energy.
We could not have gotten that same energy.
No,
we couldn't have got that same energy.
But the thing, what could we have done it? That's the question.
Yes.
Yeah, we could.
When?
Well, we'll talk about that. That's a whole nother thing.
So
but come on, let's
we
let
had
Brianna.
The opportunity. We ain't do nothing with it, but we want Brianna to talk.
No, we're gonna let her come to us. So
Brianna. Definitely touch bases there because that is very true, and that is the most important thing about home ownership. We need to buy back the block. I know it sounds like a crazy term, but that's exactly what we need to do. We have allowed them to come in and gentrify everything when we could have done it ourselves a long time ago. So no, I don't knock the system. I don't knock the gentrification. I wish we just jumped on it when it was an opportunity for us to jump on. So I wholeheartedly agree with that. Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I do thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Really.
You're welcome.
But now I just want to reference back how you touched on us growing up in grandmother's house and it being such a generational thing and how everyone had an opportunity to grow up in that household. And that's so important to me. It may not be the most important thing about home ownership, but to me personally, and to a lot of people, having that family home is so important. Just that place that everyone can come back to and be able to say, if you're going through hard times or you just need somewhere to go for a minute, you just need to touch bases back with yourself. Having that family home truly is it's something that you need. It brings you back to yourself. It humbles you. It brings you back to your original state and just kind of puts you in a new place. And we need a family home just in case, anything happens. Some type of land, some type of place that everyone can have a stake in. So yeah, I love 180 Olympic. I hate that we don't have it anymore, but just
me too. It's sad. It's sad because at the time when my brother moved out and moved in my uncle, we didn't. You don't realize the importance of something until you don't have it. Right. You know what I mean? Even if I had known now, and this was for both my grandmothers. Unfortunately, both my grandmothers had these established homes. They were homeowners. So I was very proud of that. And they stayed in that same house until they physically couldn't anymore. And, and unfortunately at the time, I don't know if we weren't wise enough to know, or we just, we're too busy with our own lives that we let it slip away on both parts, on both sides of my family. And, it's kind of depressing when you drive by there because you have so many fond memories. And you just can't walk in there like you used to. You just pull up and you walk in. There was no knocking on no doors or nothing. You just there's not a place that you eat. Well, I don't. Maybe you guys have, but I don't have a place that I can just do that anymore. What I mean? So
I never did. So.
That's a disheartening part for me. So.
Yeah. Okay. I totally agree with that. But to say that though, it is something that we should focus more on as not only a generation, as a people, as a community, is becoming homeowners and purchasing things and assets that are truly going to be beneficial for us. I mean, to me, home ownership, it gives you stability. Like, number one, my background prior to real estate was actually in leasing, and watching the rent go up on people. Detrimental. Like $100, I could barely afford the $1,400 I was just paying, the last year. So just to think about how casually management did it, it was just like, oh, we just don't care that these people cannot afford this. Watching people get evicted or going through that process or trying to figure out what they're gonna do next, it became stressful on my part. Like, man, I can't keep a resident in here because we keep going up on the rent. Like, so to even think about it in that aspect does kind of show you, like, okay, even now, I've been in my home for 3 years. I know my mortgage. I know how much it's gonna cost. Even though the taxes may change from year to year, I know I vote. So I know what my taxes are going to. That's also a benefit. I know we need new sidewalks. That's something we can vote on, but that's not something that you have control over when you're renting a place. So very, very important to really look out and start purchasing things. I know we were talking earlier about equity and things like that. Just purchasing a home, even in today's market, is probably the biggest thing about it. If us buying our house for $124,000, it was a steal. We bought our fixer-upper, we fixed it up, it's wonderful. Now it's worth $279. I want to move.
Right. Absolutely.
But that amount of equity that I could pull, that I could leverage, that I could maneuver with, you don't have that type of freedom when you're renting. Like, they came up, the owners of that community came up, but you didn't. You're still gonna deal with the rising rent prices. And growing up, although my grandmother had a home, not many other people around me own their home, especially not a younger generation. My grandmother, her friends, her established circle, of course, they own their homes, but my uncles and aunts, not necessarily at that moment, but prior to or watching my elders own their homes was great. But my immediate circle, I never thought it was something that I could attain. Like, I never thought, oh, let me go and purchase a home. So to now, come up in age and purchase my own home, it's like I didn't even think this was really a thing. You think about it, but you don't think about it until you're actually doing it. She's in her room. All right.
Right, I know. And she's a mother. Watch your multitask. Watch how she handled this. Right. But see, and that was the same thing. And even though I can't remember how old I was when Brianna was born, but I was probably like a teen. But anyway, similar to her experience, I had similar experiences where, like I said, my grandmothers had their homes, and they had communities around there. But like I said, my mom's generation, for some whatever reason, most of them didn't own their home. And so that's the environment that we grew up in, not seeing what the importance of it was. And then when I got married, and our goal had always been to be homeowners. So we were like one of the first people. I think we got married 1 year. The next year we owned our home. So, even though our grandmothers owned home, a lot of my peers or my friends that I grew up with, they didn't have home ownerships. And then we didn't know that it was something that was easily I'm not saying easily obtainable, but obtainable. Okay. It wasn't like a goal that we had just seen ourselves. But when I got married, that was a goal that we had set for ourselves. And we immediately went on about the process of buying a home. And we bought, I think, our first, and we built it too. So then we figured out we were able to build one too. It's like, oh, we can do this. There's nothing different between anyone else and us. So we built our first home. Wonderful. And we stayed in it for, I think, 8 years until, the community, it was a fixer, well, not a fixer, a first time buyer community. It's a lot of homes. And so we learned a lot from that process. And unfortunately, when the market starts to change and people started losing their home, the community switched over to a lot of people who were unfortunately renters and didn't care about owning the home, didn't care about keeping up the communities, and you just saw the community deteriorate somewhat, shift, right? So, and it was safety concerns that ultimately led to us selling that house.
Okay.
And we build another one. But now we know we're veterans in the game right there. And
That's
so most of our
good.
friends are
That's
homeowners.
good.
But again, if I had known them more so around the importance of buying other real estate or maybe being, becoming a landlord myself, I probably would have put some more investment in the time. That's one of the regrets that I have.
Okay.
Not investing in other. And we still have opportunity. We still got a chance. So
Okay.
we
There are plenty of opportunity.
right, we got plenty of opportunities to do that.
Yes.
So,
I know we were touching, you said something about the post that I made breaking down the credit scores. Just because people don't focus on it as much as I believe they should, or they don't think, okay, I've got a decent credit score, but really that's pretty much all you need. Start with a solid credit score, move up from there, focus on that. Okay. There are plenty of first-time home buyer programs. There are plenty of entrepreneurial programs. There are plenty of nurse programs, doctor programs, firefighter programs, teacher programs. There are just plenty of avenues that you can go through to get down payment assistance, because I know that's always a thing that people are concerned about. But there are just so many ways that you can make this an attainable situation. Literally, if you can afford the rent in Atlanta, you can afford a house, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because these prices are astronomical. Like some people are paying like $2,000 for like a 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. I'm like, are y'all serious? Yeah. That's a mortgage. That's a nice mortgage. That's a nice house.
I mean, a nice mortgage. I can't imagine paying something like that and still renting and not having a backyard, not having, just the basics. I refuse to have a 1-bedroom apartment for $1,900 when I can get a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house with a attached garage, a backyard, and all the things that you would want in a home. And if I ever decide I don't want to be there anymore, I can sell it and make a profit. There's nothing that we can do in that manner. When you decide to move, you leave everything that you have invested in that there. It's there.
Absolutely.
Do you think that it could be that they're staying in apartments and paying this high amount of rent because of the credit?
It may be credit, but I also feel like it's just a lack of knowledge. I don't think they even realize that this is what move you should be making or what you should focus on. If you take 6 months and truly focus on your credit, or you truly focus on the process and start educating yourself on it, get with somebody that knows what they're doing and push you in the right direction, I think it'll change your whole mindset. I mean, it's doable, but I just don't think people understand that it's such a attainable goal. I know social media, I see a lot more people closing on homes and making moves. So maybe that does put people in a different perspective. Like, you can do this. Like, there are plenty of people doing it today, but I just don't think immediately it clicks that I can own a home. I didn't even think I could own a home. Yeah, I'm telling you, when I applied, I was just jumping off the porch. I didn't want to live in an apartment anymore. I was having a second child. I'm just going to do it. I took what income I had then. Like I said, I was a leasing agent. I wasn't making $1 million. I jumped off the porch and I just went with what I could go with. Even if it's just an initial investment, even if you get a townhome for now, and later you turn that into an income property and build your own home, go for it. You have to jump off the porch and go for it.
Absolutely.
You got to go for it.
All they can do is tell you no, and you just keep paying rent. I mean, that's all they do is say no, and then what you need to work on, and then you go.
Right. So tell the people what is the credit score that absolutely have to be worked on before they can, go into trying to be homeowners. Let's talk about that. Because someone with maybe a 600 credit score, are they able to apply?
Okay. Really, I have lenders right now that'll work with you with a 580. Now, is that what I'm suggesting? Not necessarily. I would tell you to go through some credit restoration first, just because you don't want a higher interest rate. But it's doable. A 600 is getting you in a better position. You can most definitely move forward with it. My goal is always to have you with the best credit score, just so you can get the lowest interest rate. Interest rates are not bad at the moment. They're still pretty low, but I still would want to put you in the best position overall. You don't want to pay a high interest rate for no reason when you could out, when you could pay a couple bills down, consolidate a little debt, and increase your score within 6 months, and then purchase. Like, that's probably the better route to go. I mean, definitely the better route to go. But most definitely a 580. You do have lenders that will work with you. 630, 650, you're getting in a better place. Now 700 and above is always going to be ideal, but 700 to 730, you're in a really, really great place. Anything over 730, let's go ahead and get some keys. 800, I'm here for you. What door do you want to go through? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And see, what people don't realize is that increases your buying power. You know what I mean? That low interest rate, that means that you can, get a payment that stays within your range.
Right.
Usually that 35% of your income, and then you got more house.
Exactly.
More house, more things you do. And then I absolutely want to make sure that we touch on the tax benefits. I mean, your tax write-offs.
Yes.
You mean, if you have a home-based business, you can write that off. You can write off parts of your home. You know what I mean? Right. Absolutely. Right. So that's what people say. You really can't write off. You can. I'm sure there's some way you can write off some rent or some leasing, but when you own your home, there's improvements on it. There's things that you can write off that lower your taxes on it. So it's the sky's the limit with what you can do.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
it's absolutely the number one. I guess what's the word I'm using for? It's the number one avenue for passing on generational wealth.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? That's how generations and generations continue to pass on wealth, home ownership. Something happens to me, or I pass on my home. Usually by the time somebody passes away, it's paid off. So that's just instant equity, and they can sell it, they can, keep it, lease it out, and it's just generational wealth. That's the biggest way. So
question that I have for you. I have a friend who's no longer working at a particular company, and she has a fabulous house. She wants to sell her house. I have been pushing for her to keep the house because her concern is keeping up the mortgage. And what I have told her was keep the house and maybe lease it out. What would you recommend for someone right now who, is not working, but nice house, nice community? What would you suggest that they do?
Honestly, I would. Does she need the home? Does she need the space? Is she available to downsize?
She's available to downsize.
Okay. So I would try to look at downsizing and purchasing something else. The only reason I say that though is because the market is so hot for sellers right now. She can really get an amazing number from selling and downsize, and then use that money for, her benefit. She could put that down for another investment property. She could do a duplex. She could do a quadplex. She can do places that she could rent out possibly that would generate more income as far as rental, short-term rental. Instead of one particular home, you could have 3 potential places that you could rent out. So I would say if she doesn't need as much home, she can most definitely downsize. Yes. And still have the same benefits. But with the market being so great for selling, I would definitely do a market analysis in her community and just see what the numbers are really running for. If it's a really good number, I would go ahead and downsize. I would go ahead and make that move, especially with her being in between careers and jobs and things of that nature. I would leverage it in that regard just to make sure that she's still able to cover her bills at the end of the day. One thing that I do know about rentals and things like that is that you still have to keep up with the home itself, and people aren't always a guarantee in a sense. So you don't ever want to put yourself in a position where you're not able to meet your own ends. But that would be my only advice in regards to that. But if the numbers are right, I will go ahead and
right. Money talks.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm gonna give you your information. I'm gonna pass your information on to her.
Yeah. And for those who are out there watching,
fees in place to where she's purchasing something smaller with the contingency that she sells for a certain amount on this end. So I mean there are ways to do it, but if she doesn't need that large beautiful home right now, would be the time to downsize.
Yes, it's a nice fabulous house.
Yeah, they're looking for nice, fabulous.
By the airport. It is off of Camp Creek Parkway by the airport.
Yes, yes.
Nope.
I mean, Camp Creek.
I ain't giving their address, but it's out there.
Well, for those of you listening, get your keys from Bree@gmail.com if you want to reach out and get her to
I am
show you the money. What the dude said, where the money resides?
Yes.
Where the money resides. That's what we're all about.
That's good. Thank you. That's good information.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. But yeah, I just think homeownership is the way, not only because I'm a realtor, of course I'm supposed to say that, but but also just from being a homeowner myself, the joy of it all. My fiance and I, like we said, we did a fixer-upper. So just finishing projects and doing things in your home and making it your own, and people coming over and being like, oh, did you change the light fixtures? And oh, this looks so nice. It just gives you a certain pride in your place that you can't get from renting. It's yours. Just go make it yours. Make it home. Make it your family place. Just make it yours.
Yeah, it's your piece. You're supposed to be glad to pull up. There's like pulling up to your house at the end of the day of a stressful day or time when you ain't got to deal with nobody. If you want to, you ain't got no apartments, nobody banging on your door. You ain't got to open the door for nobody. The maintenance can't just come where they want to. Right. It's like one of them. This is my space. This is my sanctuary. So that's not a
rushed process either. You don't have to rush into it necessarily. You take your time. You find what's right for you. You don't let a realtor push you into anything that you're not comfortable with. You take your time. And
absolutely. So so I'm all for it, Dr. V.
Me too. Me too. She has enlightened me because I was thinking that my friends should stay in the home. And listening to Brianna's like, no, let her get into this market, sell it, and do some other things. And see, sometimes that's why we have to talk to someone that's knowledgeable in the field to enlighten us, because we can't see beyond some borders. And so thank you for that.
No problem. And she's a veteran now in the game. She knows how to buy a house, so she'll find another one. It'll be beneficial though. It truly is beneficial. Like I said, she, of course, if she contacts me, we can most definitely look at the numbers in our community. But I will go ahead, if it's as nice as you're saying and she doesn't necessarily need it, I'm gonna go to
5-bedroom.
Five,
and it's just her, no kids.
They want it. It's just the fact that people are putting 20,000-30,000 over, selling price on things like that at the moment. So and she can find something that is just as fabulous, but just a little smaller.
That's it. Just a little bit. She don't need a 1,500 square foot. That's all she needs. I'm just saying, Dr. V. She got some potential mates coming up or something. I'm just saying she could plan for the future.
I can't be hooking everybody.
I ain't saying hook over. I'm just saying, Dr. V, it just depends. We had this conversation before about building tables and all that stuff. So if she's single, she's looking forward to a long-term relationship.
She is that. She is on the market.
She on the market. Okay.
She on the market.
If y'all want to know who she is, y'all can email straight talk Dr. V and Mr. P, and Dr. V will let y'all know. I'm just saying, Dr. V.
Don't.
It might be a lonely fella out there that they can connect. I'm just saying. Okay.
She's looking for a certain type of a man.
Meaning, what you say? Well, we talked about the 666 before, but okay.
So don't do that.
I'm just saying that. All right. Well, Brianna,
thank you. Nobody feeling.
Thank you for coming. That means you broke. If you broke, that's a code word for if you broke. I ain't saying she a gold digger, but that's what she's talking about. I'm just saying, Dr. V, you just said it. So thank you, Brianna. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you
so much
for sharing your wisdom with us. And then, after you make some money off of selling this house for Dr. V, you come back and tell us how to experience.
All right.
Many blessings to you.
Thank you, Brianna.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That was a great segment. Thank again to Brianna for coming on and
yes, it was
adding that energy to the podcast. We appreciate you. You got her information, y'all. Let me show it to y'all one more time. If y'all want to reach out to Brianna, get your keys from Bree@gmail.com.
Yep.
Let her hook you up. Let her get you on the right path to owning your own home. And you know, come on, join the party. I promise you'll like it over here. You're gonna like it over here.
Oh Lord. Yes. So tell me, how was your week? We need to get caught up a little bit before we go into our topics.
Yeah, it was cool, Dr. V. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. Spent time a little bit more with the grandbabies again.
Oh, Eden and Elon.
Yeah, I haven't come up with nicknames for him yet, so I'm going to see.
What are nicknames for?
I don't know. For me.
And no.
Bebe 1 and Bebe 2.
Oh, I'm done.
They Bebe kids. They Bebe kids. They is Bebe kids. They Bebe 1 and Bebe 2. That's their name.
Them. So the babies, Joe is so cute. Oh no,
don't fall
no
for
Bebe
it.
Kids.
Don't fall for the hype. Don't believe the hype. No.
They're not Bebe.
They cute because they bad. That's what I told my wife. I was like, these kids was ugly and bad. Oh man. But that's cute. God knows he's so handsome. He made them handsome, but they bad. He did. So Bebe 1 and Bebe 2.
And they are not Bebe 1 and Bebe 2. Okay.
You say you want me to drop them off at your house?
You can.
Okay. All right. We'll
have fun in Auntie V house.
Okay. Well, good. Auntie V, y'all go tell us stuff. Bebe 1, Bebe 2. Y'all go out there and tell Auntie.
They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that.
Okay. Well, so hung out with them a little bit.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing too eventful. Kind of low spring break, so the kids was out of school. Yes. We didn't do nothing. Which is good. Slowed down a little bit. So what about you? What you getting to this week?
Well, I had a lot of things to do and catch up on. Of course, spring break, and but I still had one course that I still had to teach. So did that this week, spent time with my baby, with him playing, me and him one-on-one. Then made some calls for things around the house to be fixed, called different people out for quotes. And so I was doing the mama and home ownership thing this week. Yeah.
See, when you get a Mr. V, he gonna handle all that, and you ain't got to worry about
that. I can't wait.
You can't wait to get a Mr. V?
I can't wait to get a Mr. V because it's gonna boom. Baby, and I take care of the inside of the house.
Yeah, so you got everything else.
Here you go. And people don't believe me when I say that. Because they feel that we're of a certain age and we're kind of set in our ways that we want to be the boss of the house. That's not for me. No way, Jose.
Well, that's going to be part of our topic when we talk about who's the boss in a relationship. That's going to be an integral part because that'll be something we talk about because I think that's a challenge for a lot of us.
It ain't a challenge for me,
single ladies, all the single ladies. All the single ladies.
My husband gonna be like, well, dang.
Oh, so you just fell out. Yeah, it's funny because we was having this conversation today, me and my wife, because I had to have a guy come out and look at the garage opener. And so I was like, you didn't even give a second thought or inkling about it. She told me, I don't have to. That's what you're here for. I'm like, but if something was to happen to me, or something were to occur, I'm like, don't you think you should have some inclination or some idea of how to have this stuff? And she's like, nope. She's like, nope.
Just tell us about the finances.
I don't have to.
How to pay the mortgage. If something was to happen to you and you can't talk, just tell us how to do those things. But all that other stuff, nope.
I was like, yeah, you got too spoiled. I said, I don't make it too comfortable for you.
No, as you should.
I know. That's one of, again, that's the benefit of having twofold. So, fellas, step up your game. Make sure you take care of your household. Make sure you have your wife, give her the security. That's one thing that a lot of guys, sometimes drop the ball on. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more later. But Dr. V, that's the security and the stability that women like. They appreciate that when they don't have to worry about that. They really don't want to have to they want to be the boss, I guess, but they don't have to worry about that stuff.
Like the yard. I had to call somebody about my flower beds. I don't want to be out there. That's a him position.
That's a him position.
That's a him position.
You don't have to worry about the cars.
No.
You don't have to worry about
my cars need to be washed. I don't want to be worried about that.
You don't be worried about the maintenance, none of that. So
none of that.
I know some ladies out there, we're not trying to be sexist, who like to do this stuff, or who we know you can do it, and you're more than capable of finding somebody to take care of it. You don't want to.
I had to sit at the dealership 4 hours just for some brakes and what's that fuel injection pump.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit up there with that. I could have been at home chilling, doing something in the house,
Doing
cooking
something
dinner.
Yeah, doing that. So shout out to those maintaining and doing what they're supposed to do, handle their business.
Exactly.
So keep doing y'all, fellas. Keep doing y'all.
Keep doing y'all. All right, then. Let's
talk about, first of all, let's talk about Justice Brown Jackson. Is that correct?
Yes.
How you say her name? Ketanji Brown
Jackson.
Is she not a soror, is she?
No.
Okay.
Judge. She is a judge.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Ever
Supreme Court judge.
Supreme Court justice.
Mm-hmm.
Black woman.
Yes, she is. First Black woman.
Yeah.
Let's give a hand
Let's
clap.
Let's give a hand clap. Hold on, let's go. There we go.
Yeah. Mr. P wasn't gonna clap.
Yeah, we're gonna give it to him. There we go. Congratulations. We wish you well. Much luck in here.
Yes.
For those of you who've been keeping up with the confirmation sessions, it's been raggedy. It's been, dirty politics.
That's all it's been.
It is. And so
ugly politics.
Some of the stuff been offensive, some of the stuff haven't. Of course, it's not been necessary, but most of the times in those situations when it's so partisan like that, they talk about irrelevant stuff and they try to deflect and find, invalid reasons, but they're really not valid for their basis, so that they can, feel justified in not supporting her or voting for confirmation for her. So it's a process. She went through it. She held it like a champ. She brought in some other phenomenal Black women to speak on her behalf. Cory Booker spoke out on her behalf, and so it's a process. She went through it. She survived it, and she is an appointee for life. And so hopefully,
the most qualified of the last two that number 45 put on the bench.
Typically, that's the way, people of color are, and particularly Black women, too overqualified. They have to be more than twice as qualified for the same roles and opportunities, unfortunately. But despite all that, she still overcame, and she's still justice.
Yes, she is.
Brown
so
Jackson.
Congratulations.
Or Jackson Brown.
Supreme Court
Brown
Judge Ketanji.
Even though Jackson is.
He is getting Brown and Jackson just so
well,
confused.
I'm just saying,
I don't know why.
We ain't gonna talk about it. We ain't gonna throw no shade at her. At her husband.
Why is it so hard for you?
So he got that Jackson name though.
Jackson, is it the Jackson that's throwing you off? So you think
the Jackson, if you didn't know it better.
Brown?
No.
Jackson Brown. Okay.
I'm just saying, because her brother, her husband is not blackity black like me. He's not of the hued complexion. He's not a melanin brother. So he has a melanin sounding name. Jackson sounds, I don't know no unmelanin Jacksons. You know any unmelanin Jacksons?
You know what? We're gonna keep it moving.
No, I was just wondering. Did you know any Jacksons like that? Shout out to that or whatever. So she kept that Brown in for a reason. All right, well, let's move on. Let's move on. We ain't going, but congratulations.
Yes, please. Congratulations.
Fortunately, heard just before we recorded that Dwayne Haskins passed away in a car incident where he got hit by a car.
He got hit by a car.
24-year-old in South Florida. So rest in peace. Condolences to that young man and his family. It's sad. All the details hadn't been out, but I'm sure more will come out in the next couple of days. But it's just like a devastating thing I'm pretty sure for his family and the people who loved and cared about him. So
for his family, we'll be praying for his family and friends, his teammates, his coaches.
His coach, and he was
just
he's
24
a Steelers.
Years old.
He was on my team. He was a backup for the Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we'll see how the rest of that play out.
People are leaving this world so early.
Yeah, it's just sad all the way around.
That's why you got to live your life to the fullest.
Yep. Make the best be the best of yourself. Be the best you possible. Be the best you.
Right.
Also, let's talk about since we're talking about just getting a lot of stuff off the way. Will Jada Smith still in the news cycle?
I'll let him talk about
No, I'm just saying at some point.
I'm tired.
We talked about it in the last shows that this is kind of more the ripple effect from involving people into your relationship, because now they're pulling up old videos of her recording him when he didn't want to. Then they pulled up the video of her admitting that she cried on the day she got married to him, that she didn't want to get married. Yeah, so it's a whole lot of stuff that's coming out. And when you listen to the whole thing, it's kind of out of context.
But what did I tell you on the last episode? How many years did I give it?
You gave him 2 to 3 years, but this is already stuff that was already out there.
But no. It takes old stuff that comes out to re-damage.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, all that. And then I think, what's the latest? So it's that, her saying she was crying, and some of the stuff is out of context. So to be fair, some of you have to listen to the whole context of it. Okay. I think it wasn't the idea of marrying him; it's the idea she didn't want the whole wedding the way that was planned out. So you know how anybody got married or planned a wedding, it can be very overwhelming. It's a stressful time in your life. So all that had stuff to play in.
Because I haven't been there.
Right. So all of it's a lot playing.
One day I will.
The Academy has banned him from all events and Oscars for 10 years.
But he can still be nominated.
Yeah, he can be nominated.
Yeah, so
you know, so he'll recover. We'll see what happens in 10 years.
I forgive him because as a Christian, we have to forgive because all of us have done something that we regret. So it's about forgive, forget, and let's move on. Right. And so now let's all move on. And if Chris Rock has forgiven him and he's not pressing charges, we of the public will have to leave it alone as well.
Yeah, so we'll see how all this plays out. Of course, it's going to be a topic, at least in next year's Oscars. They're going to bring it back when that year time comes. All this is going to rehash. All the incident is going to be there. His absence is going to be there. So you know, we'll see what happens between now and the 10 years when you know, when he is welcome back at all the Academy events or whatever they call it. So
we'll be in our 60s when he's back. I added that up.
Oh, you added that up? Okay.
Yes, I sure did. Well, you won't be.
I was going to say nothing. Slow your roll, partner. Slow your roll.
I can't wait. Shoot.
I'm trying to get to 60, but I just want. I won't get there
early.
I want
to see my 60 because these people live in this world before then. So I'm telling God now.
Oh, okay.
I need to see 60 and beyond. I need to be seeing 100 and some years old. That's what I'm asking God. I want to live to be over 100 and some years of age.
I'm just making sure that everybody not, Mr. P ain't quite there yet. He's close, but he ain't quite there yet.
Mr.
And
P,
I do want to be 60
and
healthy and happy. All right.
That's right.
All right, Dr. V. And let's move on to the next one. So being that you're an academic, or you're in academia, I'm a there was an article where a new principal suspends half of all students. She suspended half of all the students at her school. And here's it is. The reason she suspended them is because there's 500 of the 1,100 students, although they were coming to school, I think most of them had like a 30 or 40, more than 30 or 40% attendance rate in the actual classes. So they was coming to school or leaving their houses and not going to class. So
they were skipping class.
They were skipping class.
Okay.
They were skipping class. So what she did was they're coming, but they're not attending classes. She went and looked at all the students' records.
Okay.
And the students that missed 35 missed lessons in a 45-day period.
Okay.
She basically suspended them.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
You're
not attending class.
Yeah.
So you need to be held to the fire. And therefore, once you get suspended, then your parents will have to come up to the school because your parents are sending you to school thinking that you are in class. And see, the first thing that the parents want to haul out if something happens to your child, well, I sent them to school. Well, they were supposed to be here and there, and you want to blame someone else. And so now the principal is like, hold up, let's make the parents accountable to this thing too, because they need to know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's provocative as some of the people quoted said in there, but I think at this point, it's the point where, again, it's desperation. I mean, the kids are coming there, but they're not going to class. And
Right.
we know for students, and I don't want to speak too much about the dynamics of her or the demographics of her students, but these are mostly lower to income students, and a day out of school or week out of school for them is more detrimental than someone at a higher socioeconomic level. So unfortunately, poor kids or kids in those situations, the more school they miss, the more detrimental it is to them.
It sure is.
In comparison to their peers who,
exactly.
Unfortunately, that's what the data says.
So that, and hopefully the parents will get involved.
Yeah.
And we will have a follow-up article that will come out and let us know that, once the parents gets involved, that there should be an uptick of attendance.
Yeah, because I mean, me as a parent, and the way that the schools is set up now and the notifications they get, we get notifications almost every day. If your kid's absent or they miss the class, there's apps. There's things that teachers track that immediately, that your kid is not in class or something. And so, as a parent, this is something you should know already. It's not the school's job to responsibility. It's yours as a parent. You and your kids fail it. I'm sure it reflects in their grades.
It is.
It reflects in their grades.
Yeah,
so
it is.
I mean, like I said, it's provocative, but at the same, I can understand for those parents who say, I work, I can't make sure they go to class while they're there. Which is true, but at the same time, there's got to be an onus on you to stay on top of them. Accountability for the students as well.
Right.
Y'all thought y'all was cool because a lot of y'all was coasting by, going to school. Yeah, Mama was at school today. Well, you went to school, but you skipped 3 classes.
Exactly. And so by making the parents accountable, their child is going to be in class.
Right. So,
and I want to piggyback on what you said, because, the school district don't give money to the schools who are underperforming. They're giving it to the schools who are overperforming. And so, when a child is not developing and not performing, the school is losing money. And when the children are not attending class, it hurts and hinders everybody from a good learning environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I hope she gets the response that she wants, and the parents take action, and the community embraces her, and focus on getting the kids. And for some of the kids, there's outside reasons why that has occurred.
Okay.
And, and so I hope all the resources and attention is given to those kids so they can be successful, because they are the ones that are at the biggest loss.
At you know what I mean?
Those educators have already got their education, and so
at the end of the day, it's the school district and the children that's in that district that is hurting.
Yeah. So hopefully, it gets the reaction she wants, and she gets the support. So far, I've seen everybody commenting and we're in support of it, and so let's hopefully that continues. So I'm going to keep following this story and see what becomes of it or what happens. So then, in the same spirit of that, but on the flip side, there was a college coach at Grambling University, the volleyball college coach.
What happened there at Grambling?
She cut the entire volleyball team.
Why?
So I think she's a new coach. And basically her decision to make that was that she's been coaching the team since February. And based on what she's seen, that their participation or their how they're taking practices, that she's not renewing their scholarship for the next year. So basically, she's like, all y'all cut based on your participation, your behavior and practice. I'm dismissing all of them.
So it's not based on their grade. It is
because
upon
their participation in practice.
So they haven't been participating?
Apparently not, because college. What people don't realize is with those college kids and the college students, those, even though they get a 4-year scholarship, they renew year after year.
Okay.
They renew. So there's 1 year scholarship. So you have to get it renewed year after year. And then basically you can be cut if you don't perform or you don't do what the expectations are, you can be cut. So it happens to a lot of football players.
So that means that scholarship is gone?
Yes.
Oh my God. So what's the fallback on this? Because aren't the parents involved now?
Yeah. Well, the fallout is the kids got to either transfer to another program that'll pay their scholarship or figure out another way to pay for school.
Oh my God. But okay, now does the coach have to justify this? I mean, where's the proof that they're not participating?
Let me see. I don't know if let me see if they have it. It says the GSU said players were advised that their scholarship would not be renewed based on their performance at recent practices held this semester. So with that reason, it's under her discretion to determine if she can renew them. So I don't know if they have any recourse, Yeah, I think one comment somebody said here was that the athletic director issued the following statement. Just as the transfer portal empowers student athletes, our coaches are also empowered to make the decision they deem necessary to advance their program.
Okay.
So if you click on the story, if you read the video link, basically what he was saying is the college coach has 13 or 14 new players coming in next year. So she's got a squad coming in next year, and the people who were there are not living up to par. And so it's up to her discretion whether to renew their scholarship or not. So if you know the coach, and I think most college athletes do realize this, and it may be unfair in some situations. I'm not saying the coach is always right, but if this coach is responsible for your scholarship, has control of your scholarship, you need to be going in there handling your business.
And that is true. And I can see it from her perspective, because sometimes these athletes get comfortable with thinking, oh, they need me. And so she gave them a wake-up call. We don't need you. We have a whole new group of people who will come in hungry for the position that you're seeing so lax in. So sometimes that's a wake-up call. I hope that she would give them an opportunity to maybe try out again for the squad.
I don't know. She gave y'all opportunity in practice. You was on the squad. She was like,
but what I'm saying, just give them another chance. Yeah, that they have, but it's no guarantee that they will make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would give them another opportunity to try out.
And maybe she did give them warning and saying, hey, look, from what I've seen, y'all not cutting it for these next 2 months. This is going to determine which one of y'all come back for next year and that and that. And if they take it lightly, and if they think they've already achieved the goal and don't have to do any work to keep it, I don't know.
Right.
So we'll find out. More to come.
Let me tell you, to those who are here on these scholarships, do the best you can. Participate. Give it your all. Because there's someone waiting in the wing to take your position.
And, unfortunately, and now I think people are starting to really, really accept this, but college athletics is a business. I mean, unfortunately, it's a business. And now with the NIL, name, image, and likeness, the kids can start making money now. So that's a good thing. But at the same time, they have control now. Maybe if they change the rules where you don't have that 1 year scholarship that has to be renewed, and then maybe you can get some guaranteed in it. But again, there's not guaranteed. Nope. They can strip your scholarship for behavior detrimental to the team for many reasons. You can get cut. You can get dismissed from the team, and that scholarship goes along with it. So
this ain't the time to be cut and let go.
Well, that's a hard talk, because you had to have a hard conversation with me. If I'm your parent and you telling me you got cut because y'all acting a fool at practice, now I'm going to support you if you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, and then they come out of left field. But if you're not, if you're on scholarship and you have to live the certain things, you have to live up to these expectations. I need you to live up to the expectations, because otherwise, you want to figure out how you're pay for your class.
That's right. Ooh, and I can understand how parents are feeling right now.
Yeah. Kids gonna I don't know. Hopefully they grow from this and everybody becomes better people for it. But
hopefully. What's next on the agenda? That's so sad.
I know. And I think the last thing before I want to talk about the Secrets of Playboy that ain't nobody talking about. But anyway, I guess in the spirit of Will Smith, T.I. took it upon himself to basically confront a comedian for making jokes about him and his wife's sexual assault allegations that happened in Atlanta. So, you know, he was in the building, and in the spirit of Will Smith, I guess he figured out that he had to go out there and, you know, confront her because she made a joke about it. And so I think that whole incident at the Oscar just opened us up for this type of stuff again. So
I think so too. But my thing is, when you live in the public eye and you put all of your business out there, you should anticipate that this type of thing is going to happen. Well, you know, but it's sad, you know, and comedians, this is how they, you know, find their material, is by celebrities out here putting everything on Front Street, and they add it into their routine. But I think he went a little too far. Did he own the comedy club?
No,
then why didn't he just leave?
I don't know. Well, because I guess he's saying that these are he feels like that since these are allegations and he was never found guilty, things was dismissed and whatever, and it wasn't something that he put out in the public, and he felt like it's untrue. That just, you know, it shouldn't be a joke about. It shouldn't be something that people talk about.
Just
even
leave.
But it's funny though. It's not funny. It's interesting to me that you go to a place that people tell jokes and you get mad when they tell a joke. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, definitely you can't do that.
And probably if you weren't there, they probably wouldn't have made the joke about you because you triggered something in there, and she's like, "Oh,
I remember."
Here. And unfortunately, in the video, it doesn't show or show us what the joke was, so we don't know what the joke was. We don't know if it was a good joke, if it was offensive, if it was. And unfortunately, he got on stage. I think he made himself look more of an ass than anything. Because the way he was talking to her, and you know, just all in her face, and it was a black woman.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, it's a black woman.
And then he sat on the stage.
Yeah, it made it more about him. Whereas, you know, I think he escalated the situation.
He did. And I would have just walked out. You know, well, that's what we do at church when the pastor used to preach on us and say stuff. You just got your purse and you just did this number and you tipped right out. Yeah. Nobody went up there and slapped the pastor. You just walked out.
Well, I mean, yeah. Again, if he felt like he should have confronted her, again, he made it more of a story. Now people it's viral. People are gonna go over her. He could have confronted her off the stage or at the show, because the damage was already done. She already told the joke.
She told.
So you know what I mean? She already told the joke. So you can't take the joke back. Right. It's out there. She told the joke. Now how you gonna react to it? Exactly. It's like you don't want her to tell the joke ever again. But now that you made it a bigger, more issue, now of course people are gonna be coming at you again, because you can't slap everybody. You can't confront everybody. You know, unfortunately, it's a one of the sad things of celebrity. You know, you get talked about good, bad, and indifferent. And
yes, it is.
You know, it's like you got a lot of people to fight. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people make jokes about it, and you just happen to be there. And I don't know if she knows you personally, y'all have a personal relationship, or what made the joke come to life, or for her to share it in. But you know.
Best of luck.
Best of luck to your T.I.
Best of luck.
But before we get into the topic, you know, I think it's CNN has, I think it's been like 8 or 9 episodes of the Secrets of Playboy. Ain't nobody talking about it.
What is the Secrets of Playboy?
It's just like surviving R. Kelly. It's just like the whole Michael Jackson thing. It's a documentary.
I didn't know that was a documentary.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's all these Playboy playmates and bunnies over the years who's talking about basically the drug use that the tactics that Hugh Hefner did, and all the stuff that went down. You know, the Bill Cosby and some of his other folks was all up in there. You know, all them celebrities was up in the Playboy Mansion. And they spilling the beans on everything. Who's getting the drugs from? Who was getting the girls, how young they were, all this crazy stuff that was going on. Nobody talking about it.
Get out of here.
Yeah, just Google the Secrets of Playboy on CNN. I think it's on CNN.
It's on CNN. It's not on HBO.
No, I think it's like CNN. Let me see what the Secrets of Playboy. I mean, it's crazy. I'm like, now when Ara Kelly was going through his thing and Mike Jack was doing it, it was all over the place.
Now. Yeah.
The secret. It's called the Secrets of Playboy.
And Hugh Hefner is gone now.
Yeah, he gone. So I mean, it's all his ex playmates, and so there was 10 episodes.
10 episodes.
Yeah, it's a docu-series.
Tell the people, please tell the people.
Yeah, y'all need to go. I'm telling you, honey. It might be on AE. I don't know what the Secrets of Playboy. I don't know what what it was on. Maybe it's on Prime Video. It's on Spectrum TV. It's on a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I'm telling you, it is crazy. You think Ara surviving? Ara was doing something. Yeah, Hugh and what him and his partners was doing out there. I'm like, that is crazy. That is crazy. But I'm just saying, y'all need to watch that Secrets of Playboy now. I'm like, ain't nobody talking about that. I'm telling you that Ara thing, he just as bad as, if not worse, than what Ara and all that stuff. And then it's crazy. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, give it that same energy. Y'all watch the Secrets of Playboy, and it ain't no secret no more. And then you look at how the women look then versus now. You can tell they've had some hard living.
Really?
They've been through some struggles in their life. I'm telling you, the way they didn't look, them centerfolds back in the day, they ain't looking so centerfoldish now. I'm telling you, I'm like, life was hard.
All right,
you boo boo.
Age gets up.
No, it's more than age. I'm telling you, it was like these two twins that was on there, and I was like, y'all used to look like that. Oh no, y'all done had a hard life. Life has not been kind.
I'm not gonna laugh at you.
So I'm just saying, they didn't have some hard living going on. And I wish them well. And this is like their therapy. So Secrets of Playboy, it is what it is. So, y'all check it out.
Okay, let's move on to our topic.
All right, so Dr.V, what we're going to talk about today, and you mentioned it before.
Go ahead.
Who's the boss in relationships? Now, when you hear that, Dr.V, who's the boss in relationship? What's the first thing that comes to your mind, Dr.V?
My husband.
Your husband?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My husband.
Your husband?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a husband, automatically he the boss?
He the boss.
He the boss?
It's the boss. I'm sorry.
Look at you.
My thing is, I was raised up biblically, okay? Mm-hmm. And so my mother raised me to the point that, hey, this is the male role, this is what he does, and she followed by scripture. Mm-hmm. And so even when I would go over to my father's house, my father was the boss. Mm-hmm. And he was married, so I saw the nucleus of a family. So that's why I say my husband is the boss. And I know things have changed through the course of the years because now women are independent. They're doing it for themselves. But, when you get married, to me, we have to go by scripture. He is the head of the household. He is the boss. When he's not there, then you the boss. If you in a work environment and you are in a position as a manager, director, VP, you're the boss. But when you come home, let that man be the boss. Go ahead.
Okay, Dr.V, they screaming at you, Dr.V.
I know they are.
Send all your comments
you can send them to me. Send them to me. Now, those comments you can send to me, please.
Because Dr.V, these women is going crazy out here.
Let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about it. Let's get an understanding.
Well, because, excuse my language, this term going around about boss bitch or boss B or whatever, Is that just just a facade for the world, or that's how they really living their life?
Well, my family calls me boss lady, but when I get married, they can still call me boss lady because I handle business. But my husband will be the boss.
Okay, he's gonna be the boss. Oh, my wife ain't here. I'm in the comment. Vanessa said, "I'm the boss." No, I'm just playing. I know my role in my relationship,
and she knows you're the boss. So don't try to play.
No, I'm saying I ain't trying to do it like that. I'm just saying I ain't throwing power around, nothing like that.
Erica knows he's the boss.
But what I'm saying, a lot of women are not going to be on board with that. Dr.V. A lot of women who've been independent say I can do bad by myself, or then we go to that whole conversation.
It's not about bad by myself. If you have gone down the aisle and you made a commitment of husband and wife, you're one. And scripture says he's the head of the household. Now, I'm going to take it a step back. A lot of people think that when you're saying that he's the head of the house, meaning that if he hits you, he speaks to you any type of way. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a good, wholesome marriage, okay, without abuse, without verbal, mental, or physical. Let's get that straight first. Okay. Now, when we get married, that's a commitment. He's supposed to be the head. I'm not supposed to be sitting up here being the head. Even if you have, like myself, have not been married, still waiting to get married. I know my place. Even though I have taken care of things in my household and I have been the boss, trust me, that's gonna be like, I'm gonna be like one of them bags. Here you go. That's one. That's two.
Right, you passing it all over here. Here you go, sir. Been waiting for you. Here you go. I've been waiting for you. Here's the list of all the things. Here you go, boss. They're yours now.
Exactly. This bill is due on this day.
Right. This on this one, right here. You need me to help you with this? I can help you with it. I'll help you with it, but here go yours.
Exactly. But you know what? Sometimes, Mr. P, some men says, okay, yeah, they're the boss, but I still want her to take care of the bills. Yeah. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Because I don't money dynamics of it. I never believed in the notion of keeping things separate, yours and mine, and whatever. We put everything in one pot, and then we pay it out there. So it was never here's a list of bills. You pay this, that, and that. Here's a list here, and then I'll do this, that. No.
Exactly.
We got to pay all these. Here's the money going on one account. We got to pay this. We got to do this. We got to do that. And that's the way I've operated. I've never. I was all in from the beginning. So and we'll talk about this because money is going to play a part of it. Because what do you think? Like when the woman makes more money than the man, does that change the dynamics of it?
No.
You sure? What if she makes twice as what he makes?
Does not change the dynamics because then now you're degrading him because you're making more money.
Y'all hear that, lady? So, and I think what it is, I think what a lot of women and ladies did or do is that they saw that in some cases, and it wasn't a good thing, men use that money as a power dynamics, as a way of control.
They do.
And over women, and that wasn't right. And so now that they've got their own money or equal footing,
they don't want to dance to that tune no more.
Right. They used it the same way that they saw men doing it, even though those men weren't right in the way they were doing that. So they took that negative behavior of men and they applied it to how they were operating. And I think that's troublesome, and that's not going to lead to them being happy because it's really a power dynamic.
Right.
And so when people get together, you figure out power dynamics, and then some people can't work their way through it and they end up splitting up and they don't have to worry about that again. But they start the process over and over again. So you always have to establish power dynamics in your relationship one way or the other. So there's areas that we as men, we got to realize that the woman has more power in that instance, and we have to defer to her in that one. What she does with her body and all that stuff, that's on her. So you can't control that. You have to adhere to her power dynamics. And if you can't get past that, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
So, that's one aspect of it. And we have to find our areas that, hopefully it's not a fight. And I think that's what a lot of people fight, jockeying for position. I have the word, or what I say goes.
Why? I mean, at the end of the day, why are you jockeying for positions? You know your position. Why are you jockeying for?
Because they don't. It becomes adversarial. Instead of y'all working together as a unit, y'all keep fighting each other, trying to see who gets the more power or who has the last say on it. That you lose sight of the goal.
So it's a power struggle.
It's a power struggle. A lot of people go through power struggles in relationships when they start, and have to, if you can't overcome those power struggles, you're gonna struggle you're not gonna be successful, and in the long term, you're probably gonna wind up not being together because respect is going to be so tied, or when we talk about respect,
right? It's
going to be so tied to that power that you feel like you're not getting, and men per se, because men definitely, from a man's perspective, if we feel like our woman, the woman who we're with, doesn't, respect what we say or value what we say, the decisions that we make, it's going to drive a wedge. You know what I mean? Because it hurts. We do have egos. And so most men that I know, wants to have a level of, because if they feel responsible for their household, they want to have a level of control or final say on what goes on in their house, because they feel like they're the ones who are willing to lay their life down for it. And again, we're not talking about people who are not doing what they're supposed to do, who not handling their business. We're talking about healthy relationships and healthy people who are trying to do the best they can for their household and their family. So, you know what I mean? So a man who has that in the mindset, or who feels like he's covering his whole household, he has to feel a certain way or feel like he's getting something reciprocated when he comes home, because he's not.
Exactly. But do you think that all of these things that people are having the power struggle, these things should be worked out before marriage?
Well, that's the goal and that's the hope. But what happens is, and me speaking from experience, what I learned was, and I had to learn quickly, that expectations change once you get married, and the expectations that you have before are not necessarily going to be the same. I expected, because that's the way I grew up, that once we got married, when I come home, there was going to be a hot meal on the table. You know what I mean? So that was an unrealistic expectation, because she was in school at the time. She wasn't working, but she's in school. She, was taking care of our daughter. So I had to get over that. Then she had to get over some expectations she had about how I would move in comparison to how she felt like her father moved. That was the example that she had. And I have to move the way that I move. And I do things the way that I do. He showed you some things that, there's some expectation that you can have about how a man is supposed to provide and do certain things, but everything, there's not going to be a carbon copy of your father or the father figure or what you saw growing up. So you can't expect that carbon copy, because the things are different, times are different, dynamics are different, and we're two different people. But if you work through those and you get to the end goal, getting on the same page in terms of, this person is here working with me and not jockeying for me, because I think a lot of time, a lot of people have challenges in the relationships, and men and women, is women sometimes when they say something, or they say something to men or who they're the husband, they want them to react to it or to move the way that they would move. You know what I mean? So if you say, hey, I need my car looked at, or something with my car, my whatever it is, if that person doesn't necessarily react or do what they feel like they should do it, or how they feel like they should have it, they feel a certain type of way. And then, whereas that person may be like, okay, I got it, I'm processing it. I have to figure out what's my approach or do like that. And so, you know what I mean? So
I agree with you. And I like the point that you brought up, was that, she was at the beginning tried to compare how her father moved to the way you moved, and tried to get you to conform to that. And that's the issue that most couples have. You cannot conform him to what you saw growing up. That's a good example. It really is. But when you have a good man, he's not going to conform. He knows what to do, and he's going to get you just the same place that your father took your mother.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to let him do it in his way. He may have to go right. Your father went left. And so we have to get that mindset out, which is a good thing for us young ladies to keep that in your memory bank of what your father and the expectations. However, this is why we court, this is why we date before you get married, so that you will know these things, that how your mate thinks, how he responds to bills, how he responds to problems and issues, how he handles those things.
Yeah, and it's growth. You got to allow people space to grow. Yeah. And then again, some of y'all, I ain't throwing no elbows at y'all single ladies who get older. Y'all get stuck in y'all ways, and y'all and some men too. I'm saying men too.
Yeah, because when you say that, excuse me, I had to fix my hair, y'all. Because when you say that, I am older, but you got to, I'm a different breed. I have to say it. Mm-hmm. Because although I'm older, I may be stuck in my ways, but I'm flexible. Mm-hmm. I'm able, because I was taught as a little girl what to do when you get married, what your responsibilities are. I've been single. I know what to do. I know how to take care of myself. So when I get married, my mind then reverts back to my teachings, and what I was taught and the wisdom that I was given, that I got to let him be the boss. So, and I understand, ladies, that, it's hard, just like Mr. P said, when you're dating men with money, you got to dance and move to their tune. And so when you have money, you want them to dance and move to your tune. It don't always be like that, and you'll be in a marriage that is not happy or not good and not healthy for neither one of you.
Well, I think that's a big thing. So I think a lot of because there's a lot of single men and women. Mm-hmm. And again, the power dynamics are what plays. And then a lot of times it's focused around the finances, because finance still that's number one. That's still the number one reason why people divorce. Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of people associate the finances with the control or with the power in the relationship. Mm-hmm. Because, hey, I don't need you because I can afford this house by myself. I can afford to live a lifestyle by myself.
Stay by yourself, boo.
Yeah, but see, that's they don't feel it. But they feel. Yeah. I think they think that there's a dynamic out there that they're going to keep control of the relationship in terms of the money wise, and still find somebody who's I don't know. I think it's an imaginary, or find somebody who's going to fit the mold for them, or fit their lifestyle like an accessory.
Who's gonna take their stuff?
I don't know. You're right.
And so for them to be taught you can't do that.
I don't know, because I don't know. I'm just glad I had to be dating out here. So we're gonna have to in the future we're gonna bring in some more single men,
yes,
and some single women, mm-hmm. and
some divorce.
Yeah, divorcee, mm-hmm. but people who are at a certain income bracket, and mm-hmm. they have challenges. They have just as much challenges as people mm-hmm. who not. And mm-hmm. These are, again, people who are well established in their life. Mm-hmm. So financially they're fine, but they can't seem to match up to find somebody to take it to the next level. And that's a big challenge for life, because again, there's a lot of single older people. I don't think, like, when we were growing up, most people, even if they weren't legally married, they were still with somebody long term. They was together.
Right.
You didn't have all these young, older folks out there.
And let's talk about Denzel and Paulette Washington, because Paulette was the one who was bringing in the money. Denzel wasn't that. And she made it a choice of hers to stay home and let him be the one out front. So it's not all about sometimes that we have to have this tug of war with one another. Sometimes you have to sit back and say, okay, I'm going to chill. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to support him. And not saying that you have to give up your dreams, your aspirations, all of those things that you have desired to do and be. It's just sometimes you have to take that back seat.
They're not going to do it.
I know.
They're not going to do it, Dr. V. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. And here's the thing. And the men have a part to play too. Because again, you're paying for the sins of others, which I know it's hard, it's tough. But the men have the part to play too. You know, for those who are the younger men and those who aren't, don't lead. Let finances get you out of pocket, thinking that gives you ultimate control of anything. Right. You have no control over anybody, individual. So that going in will set you up for success. If you understand and you going in regardless of how much money you make or how much whoever that person makes, you ultimately have no control over what another individual does, right? Even if they're married to you.
Exactly.
They're their own person. You're your own person. You guys have made a decision to spend your life together and to grow and build together as a family. So take that whole control aspect out of it. You know, I don't want to fight with you all the time, you know, over that good. We don't want to do that, but take the control aspect out of it. You know, a lot of people feel like that marriage gives them control over another person. No, it does not give. It's not a measure of control, you guys. And it's not a measure of equal, everything gonna be equal and this and that. It's not that. You know, you guys have to mold out your dynamics and how it's gonna work on you. Control is not gonna be a part of it, because at some point, most people are gonna get tired of the controlling, whether it's a woman or the men. And then sometimes there's some relationships where women are very controlling. Right.
It is. It really is. But I want to go back for a hot second to speak to my CEOs, VPs, and those who are in management position. I'm talking to the women, and you're married, and maybe your husband makes more money than you. This is what I want you to do. When you go to work, you're the boss lady. The moment you get out of your car and you put the keys in the door, you walk through the door, I need you to change your hat. And I need you to be in the wife mode, regardless if your husband makes more money than you or not. And let him know that, hey, I'm your wife. Ain't no power struggle. You getting ready to make these decisions up in this house, or we're gonna make them together. You have to take that hat and turn it. And then the next morning when you get up and get in your car, you back to being the boss lady at your job. I'm just, I'm trying to give you a little wisdom. For those who want to be married and stay married and don't want this power struggle, you're going to have to let him make those decisions in the household, because you don't want to devalue him or degrade. He gets that enough outside. And he needs your support in the house. Everybody know you making more money. Everybody know you the head dog in charge. Okay? But put the spotlight on him. Let him work it. And until he proves you wrong that he cannot take care of the stuff in the household, let him do it. Oh, I ain't getting no clap. You need to give me a hand clap.
Oh, baby. Okay. Let me give
me a hand clap on that.
There you go. Here you go, Dr.
How you gonna not give me a hand clap?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading something. Let me give you a hand clap. There you go. There you go. There's your.
I gave some wisdom right there.
You gave some. Nah, they ain't gonna listen to me.
I know.
I'm cynical against y'all single folks. Y'all messing up.
And two, I understand that, the concept of, the husband coming home and you're both working and the expectations she's supposed to cook. How about both of y'all get in there in the kitchen together? And that's your time that you can communicate, you can talk while he prepping and you doing something. Or he could just come in and y'all make a day like, babe, you cook on this day, I got this day. That's how you can do that. That's how you can make the nucleus of your family work. I guess everybody say, oh, you can talk all that until you get married. Trust me, I'm going to apply this. And I'm going to be calling on married folk. They're like, hey, I'm in this situation. Tell me what to do. And I pray that they would give me the wisdom and the knowledge, how to resolve the issue in my home.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think this whole notion of it, I get it from experience. I've been on I don't know if I've been on the side of where I felt anybody had more power than me, but at the same time, I'm not on a power trip anyway. So here's the thing. So even when I was in a relationship where I felt like someone was trying to be controlling or dictate my moves, that wasn't gonna fly. Just the type of person who I am. Just whoever I am as a man, my core being would not allow that to happen.
Okay.
Because again, that's just not who I am. And there's some men who are, and they throw around this whole alpha male, beta male. I'm not even getting into that alpha beta crap because it means nothing to me. But knowing who you are as a person, when you come across somebody who genuinely knows who they are, who's self-aware to know what their core beliefs are, and they stand firmly on those.
Okay.
You can't move somebody from that. And there's some people who are okay, both male and female. And we're not saying that this is 100% across the board, because there's some relationships where the women are in the power position, and it may not be money related, but that's just who they are. And their partner is okay with that. Their partner is okay with someone who just wants to allow her to do whatever, and they just sit back and play the back role, a quiet role, and they roll with it. And they have a wonderful life together. They go on, be married forever, and they, that's their business. But then again, there's a lot of the power struggles that go, and then people, don't really address it, and they work it out for however long, but eventually it comes to a ball. It comes to a ball, and sometimes things change in a relationship where if you put power in the position of, like we were talking about finances, if he starts off, he's making more money and he uses that to flex power or to feel like he's in a power position, and you allow that to be the basis of your relationship, and things change, your relationship changes because you feel like, now that I make more money, then I have the power.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like those dynamics that you have to establish or work through your relationship early on, like you were saying, before they get married, that a lot of people don't, because they're like, oh, it's cute now, or like when y'all dating, it's cute that I got to post them on my social media. I got to do this and do that. And it's cute now because it's not real life. It's little things. But when it becomes more important things and it becomes over time, it becomes more hard to deal with. It's instead of, and you can't get out of it. And even for women, if you're with someone who's very, very controlling and you allow that to happen, and it eventually becomes more overbearing over time.
And you said that right, because I remember when I was dating someone and he was very controlling, and instead of me nipping it in the bud, I was just, thinking, okay, that's just how he is, and never, stopped it, and it progressed and it got bigger, until it started affecting my health. I mean, it's the dynamics. It's a whole lot of things that come with letting someone or allowing someone to, go on thinking they're superior.
Right.
And their power over you.
It becomes the superior. You should never be with somebody who thinks they're superior.
Right.
If you get an air of superiority from your partner, your spouse, that's a problem. You know what I mean? It's a problem, because it's not going to work out for you, because again, you become an object instead of a true person, and your wants and needs are superseded by that person because they feel like they're superior. So that little want a need for that person doesn't trump anything. So I really can disregard that. And I hold the power in this relationship. So whatever, you do what you gotta do.
Right.
And unfortunately, we see it happen over and over again. People get caught up in those situations and those scenarios, and somebody in that position of power flexes it, and a lot of times it's the men. A lot of time it's the men. So it's the men who, I've been paying her bills, or I've been doing this for her, this and that time, and she wants to move a certain way, or waiting a certain way, and she's tired of me controlling her every action. She wants to make decisions for herself about certain things, and then you don't know how to handle that, because you've kept your thumb on everything instead of allowing that person to be who they are. And it's like the Stepford Wives. You remember that movie back in the day? Yeah, where they had brought all these women and brainwashed them and turned them to clones. Yeah, the Stepford Wives. All these powerful men who had money brought their wives to this community, and they basically turned them
look the same
way.
Yeah,
they moved the same way, made them look a certain way.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? And there's some men out there, and those are the ones you need to avoid. There again, I know there's a negative connotation. Right. I get it, ladies. I get it. Not giving up your power that you work so hard to obtain and work so hard to scratch and claw your way out of a situation, and you get there, and then the expectation is for you to hand some measure of control or power over to this other individual. Some of y'all can't do it, and you'll never do it.
You never do it, and it's okay. It's okay to be that single life.
If that's what you want.
If that's what you want.
If that's what you want, but
that ain't what I want.
Because I know. if you truly want to be with somebody, and I'm not talking about everybody. You're not so trying to please everybody. You're not trying to please everybody. You're trying to please somebody. You're trying to please somebody.
Yeah, one.
That's your only job. Your job is not to please everybody. To please the person that you choose to be with, and then vice versa. Please that somebody. Not everybody. So again, a lot of people are living for the world. They're living for pleasing everybody. They want everybody to click and share and comment. They want y'all to do all that. Love, heart love my pictures. They want that type of reaction. They want that affirmation from the world and the followers and people on social media.
That's not where you get your accolades from.
You get your affirmation from the person that you're with, that you spend your life with.
That's right.
That's what you want.
And Apostle Paul said it best, if you can't get your family to follow you, how are you going to get others to follow you?
Yeah.
And so, make sure your household is taken care of before you worry about what somebody else is doing. Make sure that you got your family in order, like people are listening and want to follow you. So follow your husband. Only time don't be following him if he taking you to the poorhouse now.
Well, I'm just saying I ain't gonna say it in those terms. I'm gonna say like this, fellas, be somebody worth following. Be somebody worth following.
I thought you was getting ready to say he take him to the poorhouse.
No, I'm not saying you can't take him to the poorhouse, but at some point if you're with somebody who's a good, I just say a provider or good. Yes. Someone who's well-rounded, somebody who kind of has some direction. There's a lot of lost people getting involved in relationships. I'm not talking about that. Yes. I'm talking about having the discernment to understand that even if your husband makes a mistake, a financial mistake, he's going to be the same person to dig you out of it and do whatever he necessarily needs to do that. You see what I'm saying? So men, be the ones worth that and be worthy of that. Be worthy of found, solid in your foundation, that that despite whatever happens, you're going to be the one to do whatever you have to do to get you out of that situation and to make your lives better.
And let me tell you, women, what you're supposed to be doing is praying. You're praying that God, now you see my husband is making the decision. Please, Lord, give him the wisdom and the knowledge and the know-how to work our finances, how to build this generational wealth, how to get us out of debt if you're in debt. You have to be praying for your husband and lifting him up before God. And then if he happens to mess up, you're still praying, saying, God, strengthen him, build him up so that he can correct the error. God, be with us. Give us this wisdom, give us this knowledge, because you're the only one that knows the way that we should go and what we should do. And so a lot of times wives are not praying over their head. They're not praying, supporting them. And we need to support and pray over them.
Yeah. And a smart man's best counsel is going to be his wife.
That's right. That's right.
It's going to be his wife. If you are with someone and you can't be your counsel, why are you even with them? If that's not the person that you can bounce ideas with and talk through things with,
exactly.
Why are you even with them? Why? You know what I mean? It's like, why you're with somebody, trophy wife is a thing, yeah. But if you can't have a conversation, if y'all can't talk about what's going on, the decisions that you're about to make, even though it's just a sounding board and vice versa, why are you?
Let me tell you, a praying man is a sexy man, and if someone can get prayers up and pray for you, ain't nothing y'all can't do and conquer together with Jesus. Come on,
your best counsel is your.
That's right. That's right.
Your
Make sure they know how to pray, honey.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, come on, fellas. We got our best counsel is not our boy. We kick it with him and go to certain things, but things that affect our lives and our household, our best counsel.
That's your best
friend. Our wife.
Yes, it is.
That's your best counsel.
Yes, it is.
And
I can't wait till I get my husband.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. That's not something that you can start thinking about or try to switch over after you marry. That's got to happen before. You guys got to set the foundations and a framework before you get married. While you're dating, oh, she's cute. Yeah, she can dress nice. Okay, she can talk with the crowd. Up here? Yeah, she can talk with the crowd. Okay. Let's talk about, babe, I got this going on, this and that and that. You should. These are the conversations that you guys should be able to have together. Be able
to flow.
Yeah, to the flow. Your dreams, your aspirations, all that stuff should not be rocket science to her. Even if she don't understand all the details of it, she should be aware of it and support it, and vice versa. I'm not saying vice versa. Y'all should be each other's best counsel.
That's right.
That's right. You're put together for a reason. So it's funny to me because even with something simple like this, my wife is a whiz at Excel. And there's sometimes when I'm working on something or there's something I'm working on, I was like, let me go check my subject matter expert. I go talk to my wife, and she's like, "Oh, do this and that." Yeah, man, SME, and she'll do like this and that. I'm like, "Oh, thank you, hey," and I go and I do it. Vice versa. There's sometimes even with her expertise, it's just sometimes she run things across me, and I say, "Did you look at it like this, or you do it like that?" And then she's like, "I know I married you for a reason." You know what I mean? So it's like,
oh, that's so sweet.
That's the person that you want in your life. Those are the type of relationships you want. It's not a competition. If you're in competition,
you need to not get married.
Yeah, you need not get married. No. If you're dating and you're competing,
y'all on the same team. So why you going against each other? So why did you get married? You are on the same team.
Yeah,
let's get everybody in their designated role. And let's play it.
There's not a competition between a couple. There shouldn't be. Because when you win, I win. When you lose, I lose. That's right. You know what I mean? So when we win. Right. So win for either one of us is a win for all of us.
Exactly.
So again, forget the power dynamics in it. And again, ultimately, there's gonna be some decisions that have to be made that one person is not happy with or does not quite understand or full on the board, but a decision has to be made.
It has to be made.
And typically, smart man knows when to make those decisions.
Exactly.
And when not to.
And a wise woman, the scripture says, a wise woman builds her house and a foolish one tears it down.
Right. So I'm not going to set you up to fail and you don't set me up to fail or, one of the big thing that I used to hate, a pet peeve was and then I haven't had a big issue with this, but don't kind of tell me about something after the fact. If you seen something, give me the counsel before.
Yeah.
And then say, and don't come back. And I'm not gonna do it. I see it all the time too. I don't go back and say I told you so. No, because it does no favor. Right. So give me the counsel before. I give you the counsel before. I see something coming up. You might look out for this. It may happen, it may not happen, but just be look out for it. But then don't look at me, don't tell me after the fact, well, I knew if you did that, then why didn't you say anything?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So it's like that. So even I take that behavior with my friends and other relationships. If I see something coming down the road and I'm like, hey, I see this coming down the road, keep it out for it. It may not happen, but hey, my experience tells me that this is a possibility. So, a funny story. I was helping my neighbor in my old house one day. He was putting up a garage opener and he didn't cut the power off. And I'm like, and he was standing on his truck bed, working on putting up the garage and working at the electrical stuff. And I had my hand on the truck bed and I was like, you ain't gonna turn the power off? No. He says, oh, I said, okay. took my hand off the truck bed. As soon as he did that, and he's like, "Oh, it bit me." I tried to. I told you. When I took my hand off the truck bed, because whatever's gonna happen to you, gonna happen to you. That's all I can do. I give you the counsel. You can accept it. You can take it.
But you should have told him.
I did. I was like,
you say?
"You're not gonna turn the power off."
That's all you said.
Yeah.
You should have said, "Man, turn the power off." Because if you don't turn the power off, some people you got to take that extra step because they don't get it.
He knew what the power was. I'm like, yeah,
they don't get it.
You not gonna turn the power off?
See, you should have went on around there to cut that thing.
Nah, I'm just saying. I'm like, look, I can't tell the man how to operate his house or what he want to do, but I'm just telling you, my hand was on that truck bed, and I see him mess with them electrical wires. I'm like, you not gonna turn the power off? Might be a good thing. He didn't do it. He proceeded to operate, and I proceeded to take my hands off the truck bed. As soon as I did that, I was like, okay.
Did he gonna cut it off then?
Yeah, he turned it off. That would have been foolish for him to fool me once. You got bit one time. I tried to tell you.
Oh boy,
turn that
that's
power
funny.
off. Yeah, I'm just saying. So, hopefully, people can get the message.
Right.
Figure it out before. Figure it out before. You can't try to fix this stuff after the fact.
No.
Hopefully you build the foundation ahead of time, and then you guys work through this and get those power dynamics together. And then again, whatever you decide in your relationship is between you and that person. I don't care what the world says. Keep the world
out of your house.
Yeah,
keep the world out of your bedroom.
If y'all decide she's the boss, then she's gonna want to give her that, or y'all can split it up however you want to. It's like in certain situations, I'm not gonna step in unless I feel strongly about something, and then I'm gonna give you reasons why. It's not just do as I say. I'm saying it. I'm the man.
No, we don't need that
discussion.
type of relationship.
No, I'm like, look, I need you. I'm gonna need you to trust me here, or get you a one word. Y'all come up with okay. I'm gonna have to this one, and I'm gonna live with the consequences, but just trust me in that one. And then, a wise person, if you gave them counsel, they didn't take it, they chose to do something else, and it didn't work rightly.
Right.
Hopefully they're wise enough, they'll come back and say, you know what, you were probably right. You were right. This happened such and that going forward. Right. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Don't be stubborn, man.
Please don't. And don't be stubborn women.
So, take your counsel.
And have communication.
Yeah.
Communication.
That's your partner in crime, bro. That's your partner.
See?
Partner.
Some people make marriage look so good, but we know that everything is not going to be this fairy tale. There's going to be some hills, some valleys. I know there's going to be some storms, So I don't think that Dr. V is sitting up here like, I'm just going to be this, I'm going to do everything right. No, I know it's going to be some errors, but hey, I'm willing to take that.
Yeah, mistakes are going to happen. Feelings are going to get hurt, but have grace and mercy for the person that you're with, that you chose to do that.
Exactly.
Again, we know there's some really bad people out there. There's some people who really have ill intent. Hopefully, you can recognize that and you don't get too involved with those people. But if you have somebody who's relatively a good person, who relatively works hard and who, wants to grow and build a table with you, don't let something simple as the power dynamics take you away from that person.
Please don't.
And you're stuck back out here in this world, they're trying to refine some of that stuff. You know what I mean? So hopefully you guys can find that. So I wish y'all well. I wish y'all
luck.
We do. Y'all single people need to get it together. Y'all tripping, y'all falling off, y'all falling short of the glory you're supposed to have, and it's your own fault. Okay, I'm sorry, Dr.
This man.
It's your own fault.
It is not our fault. It's not your fault, sugar. But hopefully go and evaluate yourself.
Yeah.
And, and go from there in the areas that you deem that you're weak. Work on those areas. And to make yourself a better you before you try to make yourself a better we or us.
Yeah. Be the best version of yourself that you can be each and every day. Yes. Dr. V, I am so glad to be doing this with you.
Same here, Mr. P.
Great show. Thank you again to our guest, Brianna.
Yes. yes,
Go on,
yes.
y'all. Follow her. Find her on Facebook. Find her wherever she at. If we're smart enough, once we figure this out, Dr. V will start tagging some stuff. But just give us a little time. Dr. V, you didn't say nothing about our little setup. You didn't say that about a little setup.
We got a wonderful setup. I see the set. I see the overlay. Yes, I see the overlay.
Myself.
See, he does all the technology.
I did it myself. I had to come figure out some things. So again, we're trying to do bigger and better things for you. We're trying to improve and grow. So please stay with us, bear with us as we work this thing out.
And a couple of times we had to do virtual because my schedule and Mr. P's schedule was kind of hectic, but majority of the time we will be together. Yeah, so we got it. We're working on it. We're working on it, and we appreciate you guys. So okay. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click the little bell notification and share with 3 people. Yeah. Okay. Don't make it do what it do. We appreciate y'all. Until next time, let me give you a slap on the way out. One more time no, we gotta do 10 slaps. Why are you doing 10 slaps? Why are you doing 10 slaps? Something seriously wrong with him, y'all. I think he's a little hungry. Them 10 slaps. But thank you all for watching and listening. We love you. It would not be no us without a you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Love you. I'm just saying it.